Okay, guys, thanks for sticking around. Before we get started, I want to wish all the people that have suffered through this flooding. You know, I kind of live in a cave over here, and they sent me some clips of New York and other parts in Jersey, and my goodness, I didn't realize. So our thoughts and prayers are to all those people that are struggling right now. Really good day. A day that we needed to go out and take care of business, and we did. Some great things happened today. Probably my favorite part was when Reggie Sutton got to go in and play. You know, we gave him a game ball, and he said a few words in 738 days since his injury. I mean, he is the epitome of chop. There was many times that I tried to talk him out of playing. I said, Reg, come on, man. This, you know, you're such a bright guy. You got a bright future. Let's get going. He said, Coach, I got to do this. So that was really special moment. I know for me and for our coaches and his teammates. So that was really cool. So I'll open up for questions.
What are some of the other takeaways from this game?
We were 5 for 5 on fourth downs. I think we were 7 for 7 on red zone tries. That was a beautiful catch that Jaquay Jackson made, a beautiful throw, beautiful catch. So there was some good stuff there. Defensively, I don't know what's the total yards. 106. That's a heck of a job. I felt bad. We gave up a kickoff return. The defense could have had a shutout, which is hard to come by. But yeah, there's some good stuff. We saw some younger players in the fourth quarter. That's always good. We have some really talented young guys. We just got to develop them.
4-1 after your first month of the season. What do you feel like you've learned about this team at this point?
That we're getting better, that they really, really want to get better. And they're learning how to do the things that winning teams do that nobody knows about, right? They're learning how to sleep correctly, get their rest. They're learning how to take care of themselves from a nutrition standpoint. It's a long season, right? And I just got done telling them the rest of the way, it's Big Ten all the way, right? And what I believe to be the best conference in the country. So it's going to be quite a run. And just as I've told you guys before, we're 1-0 in the Wagner season. We'll take a breath, celebrate it, and then we're on to the Wisconsin season. So it's the only way you can do it, in my opinion.
Greg, what did you think? How did you think Gavin did? And he was in the game late in the third quarter. You guys are up 6 or 7 scores. Just what was the thinking of keeping him in the game in that moment?
Yeah, I thought Gavin continues to improve. You know, there's certain things you can do with him. Certainly there's a risk. There's always a risk. But he's got to play. I mean, he's a young quarterback. He's got to play. And, you know, you didn't see him carrying the ball a lot. That we weren't going to put him in that spot. But he did it himself a couple times on some of those plays, but which were pretty crafty of him. But now he's got to play. But it was good. I was encouraged again. You know, the biggest thing is we're not turning the ball over. When we don't turn the ball over, we're tough to beat.
In the first half, you guys had 100 yards rushing and passing. I just wanted to get your thoughts on how satisfied you were of the balance of the offenses overall today.
Yeah, I think we did a good job offensively. To be honest, I think we left a lot on the table. Now, I tip my hat to Wagner. They're a much improved football team. They have some guys up front that I believe are FBS players. We have to do a better job, but you know what? We're getting better, so it's step by step.
When you talked about Reggie Sutton, when you told him, hey, this might not be the right move for you, how do you think he stayed so dedicated, and what was his like? How did this all happen?
I think you got to ask him that. I think he's had this steadfast vision of what he wanted to do, and he was not coming off it, you know, and more power to him. It's his body, you know. I can tell, you know, when he's sore. And you guys got to understand that operation was one of the most extensive knee operations I've ever been a part of as a coach. That's 36 years. It was Ryan Neal-esque, maybe even worse, which those of you who've been around a while know how bad that one was. So yeah, it's a pretty special moment.
Coach, on a day like today where it is a come out and take care of business day, but it also, gets you to 4-1, which is, tied for the best start since 2014 and matching the win total of last year. What is, the significance of just being able to come out against an improved Wagner team and take care of business like you're supposed to?
Yeah, it's tough, because we're coming off a tough loss out at Michigan. And I told you guys, our guys truly believed that we were going out there to win, and they really were hurting after the loss, coaches and players. And I wanted to make sure that we didn't get beat twice by them, because that's happened before. And we fought through it. Wasn't pretty, but we fought through it during the week. And then I thought the guys came out and, like I said, I thought Wagner did a good job. I mean, exactly how I would have. They shortened the game. They slowed that game down. Whenever the clock was running, you take the opportunities away from the team that has more people and better people, and they did it exactly how I would do it. So you knew it was going to be that too. Tommy's an excellent coach, so he had a plan.
Greg, this is a bit off topic, but how important was it for you to improve everything around the football experience when you got back here, just making the game more of an event for fans than it was perhaps your first time around?
Yeah, you know what? First time around, we had so much ground to cover. Like, we didn't even have a logo. You remember we had like 7 or 8 logos. So no, you watch a Rutgers event, you didn't even know, you wouldn't even recognize what. Now we have one logo, right? I mean, and people see the R, they know what it is. So we had so much baseline stuff to do the first time around, but we also have more people. PJ, what he does for our game day is second to none, literally. And, I look at it this way. I have 4 kids, and my wife always says, it's got to be a family experience to go to a Rutgers game. And it is. It's a great experience between the boardwalk and the tailgate and the cheerleaders and the band. You can have a great day. I was actually thinking about that today. I said, I wonder if people just come to the boardwalk and don't even go to the game. Just take the kids to the boardwalk. I would do it. When my kids were little, I used to try to find anything. When it was she had to do some stuff, and I had, oh my goodness, how many times can you go to the Chuck E. Cheese, right? So I think it's great. I do. I think our fans love it. And it's really good for the players. When they get off that bus and they do the Scarlet Walk, we started that tradition the first time, and I think we've amped it up now, with the stage and the music and it's really cool stuff, I think. And then I love our game day, between the band and the cheerleaders and the music and the sirens or the horn, right, and the lights and the night games. I think it's a big time environment, one that I think kids are excited to be a part of. So that's good too.
Coach Litton, as we said, Gavin playing into the third, what kind of experience or confidence do you get from a game like this, looking forward to that Big Ten gauntlet coming up?
Well, he continues to take care of the football, so that's what we want to see. And he made some really good throws today, right? And some he ate it once on the sack, which was the smart thing to do. I just thought he played a very measured game today, and he hit some shots. So I think he was, what was he, 66%, maybe 67%. That's a good outing.
Coach, just staying on Gavin, he didn't rush as much today, but still had 2 rushing touchdowns. Do you believe, without any injuries, that Gavin's rushing ability has opened up the offense a lot more?
Well, you certainly have to account for it, right? As I've told many of you over the years, when the quarterback runs the ball as a design play, it changes the math. Because, when the quarterback hands the ball off, now he's out of the equation. Well, now that he's a runner, it changes the defensive math. You have to have someone that accounts for him. And it's not always that easy to get that sometimes. Either somebody's got to whoop somebody and make the play, or you got to do things schematically. So, yeah, it does help for sure.
We'll go Chris, Christian, and Brian to finish.
I don't know if it's too soon to tell with Reggie, but do you have an idea of how much he's going to be able to play week to week? Is it kind of going to be a week to week decision?
I really believe it's week to week. He's a tough guy, but I'm sure he's going to be sore. There's one thing is practice. It's another thing to play in a game. But we'll just play it by ear. Yep.
Ports have been able to get Sam Brown those carries, especially Sam Brown getting those carries, especially going into the Big Ten play. How important was that to get that from today and have him emerge just a little bit more of a workload?
Yeah, that was great. You know, that was one of the things, the takeaways, you know, for all 4 running backs to score touchdowns today. And Sam has worked his way back. You know, you're a natural player, right? So you're a good player. But like all the things, if you don't practice because you're injured, they can have a bad effect on your game day. Ball security, things that people don't think about until a guy fumbles it, and they say, how could he fumble? Well, because he hasn't practiced. I mean, all those things are the things. Pass protection, right? If you haven't practiced for a while, it's not that easy to stop some of those rushers. So Sam's been practicing more and more every week. Aaron's been practicing more and more every week. So they're all starting to get well, and that's important going into this stretch because, as you know, it's a very physical stretch we're gonna face here.
I'm hoping I could squeeze in one quick one before my final question. Just running the new guys on the injury report: Moses Walker, Bo Mascow, Evan Simon. Anything long-term worries about those guys, or just what's their status?
Well, it's not an injury report. Remember, it's an availability report, so don't always attribute it to injury. But Evan had tweaked something a little bit late in the week, and he could have played. But, we just saw it as an opportunity there to get a Johnny in and Evan to be, to move on to next week and be ready to go. And then there's some other things that are not always injury related. Moses was injury related. I think he's going to be fine. Bo was not injury related. He's got a little something going on NCAA wise that we're trying to work through. So we're continuing to work. And I'll save you the question on Brantley. He was listed as out because that has not been resolved.
And the fans have been asking this a bit. June McAtamney had 13 straight touchbacks to start the year, and he's been. I'm not sure if he's kicking it short strategically or if his leg is whatever. Just what's the obviously that led to the return you mentioned earlier. The change in kicking between touchbacks and short kicks.
No, we really haven't changed. There was a little wind out there. It was 8 mile per hour, but it gusted up to like 14. I think on one of them he caught a gust. And again, we tried a play that he did executed every day this week perfectly, and then he, like a golfer would do, he picked up his head, and the ball didn't go 10 yards, and it was there. We would have recovered it. It would have been a good onside, but we didn't, and I think that bothered him. I know it bothered him, and it affected his kicking for a little bit. And I told him, will you forget that? That's stealing from right now. Don't let that happen. I think he got the point because he banged a few after that, and we were back to where we need to be. Yeah, because that's a weapon. When you bang those touchbacks, that's a big weapon. So hopefully we can do that consistently. But again, we play in the Big Ten. And you're going to be kicking into the wind sometimes, and you better be able to cover, and you better be able to fit the coverage. And we didn't that time. We had a couple errors actually. I haven't even watched the tape, but you could see it in person. We failed, on 3 different areas that we got to get cleaned up. But look, at the end of the day, we did what we were supposed to do. Hopefully, we got out of it injury free. I'll know more tomorrow, and I'm proud of our guys. And now it's back to the Big Ten, and it's. What is it, 5? So we got 7 straight Big Ten games. So we'll start with the Wisconsin season starting tomorrow morning. Thank you, guys.